hope you take this meditative state with you wherever you go today. Don't let nobody get you off this center. Come on back. If you gotta cuss them out, come back. Don't hold that in. Let it go. Don't let it go, okay?
A lot of things that can impact mom's maternal health. And so we know that parenting is difficult. So if mom is not doing well, baby typically is not doing well. When we're thinking about maternal mental health, some of the things that women may experience: anxiety, stress, and distress, right? We're thinking about the overall well-being, so that can be financial, it can be spiritual, all those things. Struggling with these, different mood disorders. They can experience symptoms of PTSD. Also, suicidal ideation, mood instability, a lot of anger. They may struggle with being unable to tolerate uncertainty, and we know that pregnancy brings a lot of uncertainty, right? Black moms are already a little bit anxious because we know what the statistics say about us being 4 times more likely to die in childbirth. And I'm seeing moms are already anxious about, like, I just want to make it out alive. Like, I just want to get through this process and have a healthy baby, but I also want to be here to raise said baby.
I hate the diagnosis of attention deficit, okay? Because it's the same damn cluster of symptoms for a child who's stressed, a child who's depressed, and a child who's been abused. So if all we're gonna do is pay attention to the symptoms, a gunshot wound looks a lot like a regular surface wound, but a Band-Aid won't get it, okay? When we're talking about substance abuse, the idea that we can just focus on the person's pattern of use and interrupt that as if it was an actual intervention, rather than paying attention to how the hell did we get here in the first place, is the Band-Aid on the bullet wound. Now, addiction is an issue, though, that most folks, when they say they can't understand, I'll give you an example that lets you relate immediately to addiction. You get halfway to work, you realize you left your phone at home. What you gonna do? Get that dopamine spike, okay? Increasingly in America, we have gotten used to very addictive patterns of behavior. By 10 years old, your kid's most influential peer group is their phone or their tablet, not you as their parent, not even the friends that are immediately around.
Like my bio said, I was a school counselor. I've worked with youth for the better part of my career. I recently transitioned to clinical counseling about 2 years ago. So I still work with youth in a clinical setting, just not necessarily in a school setting anymore. But it is really important to me to have actual strategies for helping youth, because I think a lot of the times people that work with youth, we think that we know what's best for them, but we don't ask them because they're the ones on the receiving end of those things. Some of our objectives are to kind of learn about the identity of Black youth and what that means and why it's important.
So just on exposure, we're talking about the subjective experiences of terrifying and terrorizing experiences, and the disparity, meaning the uniqueness in which we end up being exposed to these things much more than other people.
And the reality is we typically are not seen in a lot of spaces. And the reality is when you're talking about opiate addiction, and particularly opiate deaths, 70% of all opiate deaths in the state of Ohio are gender, meaning it's disproportionately men.
Traditional ideas about what trauma are, but they don't include half of the range of emotions that our communities are exposed to.
Don't let the realization of a pathway block you from getting to where you're going. Every place is not a straight line. So just know that, and even the young ones you talk to, encourage them to do what they do, find their space, and keep moving.
You look a Black girl in her eyes, say you're beautiful, you're pretty, that will carry them into adulthood. So what signs or behaviors do you notice that might indicate a client is struggling with their mental health?
I would say agitation, being indecisive, things that you normally do, they're not satisfied with. Usually, if the situation calls for it, I'll try to take them to a private room, or I'll wait till after the appointment and send them a text or a call.
Everyone is human. They go through things. Make sure that you are around them enough to give them the right advice. Illness, mental health is real. Especially in the Black man community. We as Black men, our ego, our pride, and not being able to express is real.
So something that I've learned also behind the chair is knowing when you do not have the capacity, being okay saying to the clients, you know what, this is a little heavy. Let me see if I can get you some resources or assist you in getting to somewhere else, because this is beyond my capacity and what I can actually hold.
When she became a Jehovah's Witness at that age, I had to stop celebrating holidays. I was traumatized. At school, I couldn't stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I couldn't celebrate nothing that I was accustomed to. And so I acted out. And because I acted out, they put me in a mental institution. I can't recall during Christmas and during the holidays, just looking at TV, because my trauma started with the holidays, I would be looking at TV and I would just start crying. Tears would joke, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? I might got something wrong with me. But not knowing is one of the barriers.
They're told probably most of their lives that you're crazy. You just act crazy. You do crazy things. And then by the time they reach adulthood, they are crazy, but crazy people like us end up in the criminal justice system, sitting in the jails.
It's nothing but white folks trying to figure out how to service us when only we know what's best for us. These kids are different. We have to have a different approach. We're not listening to them. We still have that you sleep when you spoke into mentality.
At testing, certification fees and costs. Some of these things prohibit our community from being vested. Seeing someone and being treated by someone who looks like you is a definite, it causes a change. One thing that causes change the most is a voice.
You can't sit back and watch and expect something to happen, because you're the something. My job is to see people how they want to be seen.
Yes.
Not for me to tell them how they look.
Yes.
And so we have this issue of telling people how they look instead of creating a space so they can be seen.
You keep having different departments or different resources in different parts of the city, and nobody is communicating with each other to be able to help people with certain needs.
Families make up community. If the family's messed up, the community is messed up. We learn authority in the family. We learn how to love in the family. We learn how to share in the family.
One of the biggest challenges that we have, particularly in Black and brown communities, is stigma and legitimate trust issue with Black and brown communities and healthcare professionals. But we also have to work on the ability to provide our kids with access to health professionals who want to help them. I do admit, I'm in therapy. It's not possible to be in this job and not go crazy. To see the trauma around our community and not have that impact you personally. To see the violence, the mass shootings, the disparities. And so most of all, what I want to say is thank you all so much for being here, for creating a safe space.
Let's figure out what young people are saying. Let's go to young people and ask them what they think hope is. Hope was characterized as sort of this anticipation for a good future. So wanting to achieve goals or wanting to do different things in life. It don't matter what you bring to me, it doesn't matter what the challenge is, it doesn't matter what the barriers, I got that dog. Because there's something down in me that's not gonna give up. And I'm gonna come out fighting every single time.
Mostly Black and brown populations don't have the basic necessity of needs to have healthy mental health, right? We talk about biological, we talk about Tuskegee experiment, going to the doctor, right? That is a part of mental health. Free will is not about just praying. Pray and do as well. You can pray and speak to a therapist. We all struggle. It's okay to not be okay.
Mental illness is a disease that causes mild to severe disruptions in the way a person thinks, feels, and behaves. Then you have these weekly things that you want to do for your mental health checklist. Once a week, you will set a new goal. These don't have to be lofty, unattainable goals. Just what is it that you want to make sure you do Sunday through Saturday? Do you know doing something for someone else elevates your mood, elevates your energy, makes you feel worthwhile, like you matter? Acknowledge and celebrate your win for the week.
An awesome event, one held by nothing but Black women, spoke about everything that ranges from mental health to how can we continue to better ourselves as a community.
I learned more of how trauma affects us and even witnessing things.
I'm here at the Black Mental Health Summit, sponsored by Black Women Cultivating Change. It has been an amazing summit. The biggest quote that I gave is when I is replaced with we, even illness becomes wellness.
Thank everyone for coming out. Thank all the volunteers we had to make this a successful event. I would like to thank all of our sponsors. We could not have done this without all of you. I know this is a hard subject and a hard topic in our community, but you all came out today. You all heard some dynamic speakers. Just know that there are good people out here in the world. There's a lot of resources and people here to help you and truly, genuinely want to see you live your best selves.